Yeah, we do. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 53, streamed live on June 29th, 2019. And if everyone could stop mocking me because my DE crashed, that'd be great. Thank you.
It wouldn't happen if you use KDE.
My name is Dalton, and joining me this week are Marius,
Hello.
Florian,
Hi.
and Jan.
Hello.
We have a huge roundup of community news and some questions for you today. And I think we're going to get right into it. But first, how's the heat, everyone?
It's cold.
Well, it's better now, but in Central Europe we're melting, so my window measurement showed 40.7 one day, and now we are below 30. So Jan has the heat now. I mean, it's between Germany and Austria, it's a thing like bouncing back and forth, and we're blaming each other for heating up the world. But yeah,
you can have it back.
Well, it's quite okay these last 2 days. So, but the week before was interesting.
I heard. Well, drink plenty of water. Keep it going. Please don't pass out on stream. We will all laugh at you.
Nah, won't happen.
So let's get right into it. Florian, I heard from basically everyone in the community this week that Google told everyone that Ubuntu is broken. What's going on here?
Okay, basically, Google started sending out kind of reminder or warning message to everyone that the Ubuntu app is broken in terms of if you don't accept the new privacy policy your app might lose access to certain data. So they made it again with fear, uncertainty, and stuff to get everybody alert and nervous. So while we looked at this, it seemed first that it could affect all the synchronization stuff that we have, calendar, contacts, and also emails, of course, because we are still using some old canonical API key or whatsoever. And while we then figured out probably it only will affect email or Gmail synchronization or download of emails, we nevertheless said we will update the keys now to something that UBport owns. So we assigned the wonderful Alberto, and he is working now from Russia with love on getting this done until July 15th. So nobody should be afraid that he cannot access his Google data anymore. Of course, only for people that really are using Google, which you could again question at this point because they are making changes on short notice because it's only 2 weeks. And if you're not the app developer, you can do nothing, just nag the guys who did this app and say, in 2 weeks, we will lose access to our data. So anyway, we're going to rectify this, and it doesn't seem to be really hard to fix. We just need to switch accounts, but who knows? It's still in progress for the devil image coming up maybe next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like this, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And this is an interesting situation because the information about it, there's a lot of misinformation going out.
Yeah.
Just people getting emails and a lot of places speculating on what's actually going away. So it was a little hard to cut through that one, but we should be able to have that fixed.
One thing involves that we have to use a Google account for that we have already. Okay, then we have to set up a certain page on our website that somehow is accessed by Google one or more times. And it's really a strange process getting this authorized again. So not 100% clear what they're doing, but as usual with Google, you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah. So we'll get that fixed, but I think we're going to rapid fire some other things that we've been fixing lately.
It's fixing time, and for some reason, I'm the messenger for that, all of that stuff. Yeah, we finally got one very, very nasty bug contained. Let's say not fully verified, but it seems to be very good. the Fairphone 2 had a camera rotation bug on the selfie cam. Yeah, so everything would be upside down. And after digging into this, we are very happy that Rajanan finally found what's going on, because on some place there were hard-coded exceptions for certain devices to set the rotation to a different value than what was reported. And we are cleaning this up now so that we don't need this hard-coded if then else stuff, but really rely on what Android is telling us. And this was only affecting the new camera for the Fairphone 2, interestingly. Yeah, that's the first thing. And the second thing is also very, very nice. So people will love that one, that the audio-video synchronization bug finally seems to be solvable, let's say. So the audio and video fell out of sync on the Fairphone 2 and also on the Oneplus One, it seems. And so for the recording videos, you will be able to have a perfectly synced audio for your video soon, and hopefully with the next OTA already. That's the plan. Well, yeah.
That is all merged into Devil now. So if you're one of those Devil trackers, you should be able to have well-synced audio on the Fairphone 2 or Oneplus One, and your Fairphone 2 selfie camera should be the right orientation.
That's true.
Or Edge.
However, yeah.
Or Edge.
Or Edge. So I won't take too much time for that, because Dalton reminded me that I have otherwise 15 minutes of talking about what I was fixing. Actually, I'm only the messenger here. Yeah? Well, the next one is not only the messenger.
You also did that yourself.
Yes, I did it myself. We were trying to update splash screens, and we were successful for Nexus 5, Fairphone 2. They have now the black boot screen. Basically, it's again something that we might be able to show if this one turns on. Yeah, you can see this nice splash screen, which has our logo inside, Nexus 5, and so on and so on. But it won't kill your eyes anymore. So for the people who didn't see the last Q&A, that's now live. However, for the OnePlus, we will take another round for the current way we are updating this. And while preparing this update of the splash screen, I made a small but important mistake with the partition table. So I broke the Devil channel, and then we also broke RC because we didn't block it. So we fixed it again. The problem is now that people on the Devil channel and on the RC channel for Oneplus One might not be able to update anymore if they installed a certain update. If you're into this situation, there is a forum thread, which is actually, is it in the support category? I will give one or more two instructions there, but basically from today on, it should be okay again. So you need one manual install with the installer to fix this again. If your OnePlus is stuck on a certain update, please try the UBports installer. Don't select wipe and just install again manually. And from there on, from today, it should be fine again that it installs automatically any updates.
And actually, as of today, the installer will also flash the boot splash on the Oneplus One. So even if you're unstable and you want to stay unstable, you can also, but you really, really, really want to have the new logo, you can also just use the installer once. Don't select wipe. That is very important if you want to keep your data. But yeah, then you can also have your beautiful new image and don't have the powered by Android under there.
But we need to be really clear that this is only on a OnePlus though. So it's not all the other devices are not affected.
Yeah.
Right. And also important to note that you can select the Ubuntu actions and then apply update if you have an update downloaded that won't apply.
It's
and
actually
then,
in Android actions, or is it also in
or
Ubuntu actions?
It might be
Isn't
in
it the
both
same?
because the menu isn't any good. But
okay, it's called apply update. You can find it in the recovery screen. When you're stuck in the recovery, you could trigger the update manually. However, for people that are afraid to do something with recovery, the more recommended way is, of course, use our wonderful installer.
Yep. And then that
otherwise,
that all up. That'll be on the forum shortly.
If you're unstable, basically you don't have to fear anything because it was not leaking into stable, of course. We won't break stable as long as possible. Okay.
We will make sure to keep flooring out of stable.
Yes. Please
don't
keep me out
worry.
of stable.
Keep him out of stable.
Well, actually, I'm on daily with my devil channel, so I immediately got feedback. Now it won't work, but yeah, I forgot about release candidate. I'm sorry. It can happen.
You should try the good old Edge on your daily driver. I've been
The
using
good
mine
old
as a
Edge. I'm objecting about good old.
Okay.
The combination. It's either good or
new.
old.
Good new Edge.
Good new Edge channel.
Yes.
I'll give it a try.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, the Edge channel?
Yes.
Yeah.
By the
Wow,
way, I
there's-
use the Edge channel. That's it.
Yeah.
There we go.
By the way, I use Edge. Yeah.
Can we have a sticker for that? I'm using
Yes.
Edge channel. And what are you using?
By the way, I'm using Edge.
So
Okay.
Speaking of Edge, or rather just of new things, I believe, Florian, you also bought yourself a new piece of hardware.
yes, I can show off. Today is a little bit of a fun day because it's so hot outside. I can show you this wonderful headset. So every time I'm wearing this headset in the future, you know that I'm talking about Bluetooth. So that's the marking thing. It has also this symbol here. You see Bluetooth.
Oh, no.
It's the cheapest headset, the cheapest Bluetooth headset I could find for testing, because I'm thinking if it works with the cheapest ones, the chances are high it will work with the more expensive ones as well. Because in contrast to what we think, the quality of this might be crap, but they try to support as much as possible, so they should not be too picky about protocols. I mean, it's just a theory. What I want to say is we have a new update for the Bluetooth support on the phones. It was something that many people already wanted to have. So Mario's already prepared a branch for updating to the latest Blues version, which is more or less the starting point of that. So we will try to get the new Blues update into stable, which is beyond 1604. So this is not what Canonical has put in 1604. It's a later version. I don't even know. Maybe it's already. Is it beyond 1804 also?
It's
Probably.
beyond. Yeah, it was the one from Disco.
Yeah. So we are really on a hot new stuff here, and we hope that it fixes already some stability and other issues. However, sound routing itself needs a little bit of love, because today I already tried with that one, and when you switch it off, the sound falls back to the speaker. You switch it back on, then you have to restart your app, and these nasty small things. Yeah. So I made myself a little bit the product owner for Bluetooth now, which I will regret immediately after this Q&A, because people will fall upon me and say, please, I need that device paired with the phone. And I will say, okay, let's see. Send it to me, maybe.
Send it me.
Next day, DHL
I need my
will
car.
bring me a box.
Yeah.
Send me all your cars, yes. You
My
can send
Tesla
all your-
won't work.
Oh, geez, I think I'll need to test that one in person.
Yes.
Florian just wanted an excuse to buy many cars.
Yes. So it will
Yes.
start with the 15 euro headset, and it will end with a real Tesla to test the Bluetooth integration. You're right. That's a good idea. No, I will not buy more stuff. I hope that's the only thing that I was missing for testing things. By the way, I paired this one with my laptop, and it has the same problem. The audio routing is not working as expected. So it's not a UBports problem. It's a Xenial problem, or a Blues problem in that version.
Well, Blues is a pain in the ass. So I think that's a universal thing on every single desktop. But now that I think Google is back on the train after they switched from Android Blue.
Blue Droid.
Blue Droid.
Blue Droid.
Yeah. Blue Man. Blue Man. No, that's
The
it's
Blue Man
one
Group
of
is
the
a very
XFCEs.
nice rock band.
I am confusing it with Con Man. Con Man is the thing that Selfie uses. Yeah, never mind. So now that they are back on the Blue Man, they hopefully get some nice fixes into the newer version of Blue Sea.
Yeah.
Right, and
With
it is
our
interesting to note there are some things with BlueZ where it has to support a very fragmented ecosystem in Linux.
Right.
So it does a lot, and it does it pretty well for the deck that we gave it.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't give Blue Sea too much hate.
Yeah, don't be too hard on it. It's trying its best.
But it's I can't excuse them for written in C and not C++.
Oh,
I
that's
may
rough.
quote Michael Zanetti on this because we were talking in the developers group some day ago, and he wrote the Bluetooth stack needs to integrate in about every bit of the system in order to comply with the Bluetooth specification. And given on Linux, every bit of the system is a bit of a vague definition. It's very hard to find a common ground for a Blues to provide an API. And yeah, that's true some way. We shall see. But so I'm playing around with this nice piece of hardware, and it also speaks some interesting Chinese English to me sometimes when I turn it on. And I will pick up the forum threads and some bugs, and I made a project for it. So let's focus a little bit this summer on Bluetooth. Maybe there is some advantage coming from that.
Work with
Hopefully we can
Bluetooth
fix
to
a
cool
few
yourself down.
Yeah. So now I'm out of topics. Perfect. Can hand it over.
We got him through it.
Yeah,
Good work.
some
It only
people that
took
are not
20
here.
minutes.
So somebody else has to feature that.
So another thing that's been happening lately is you might remember maybe not that long time ago, Marius talked about switching provider remote backends to location D from our GeoClue backend. And that work is still in progress. But what Rodney has been doing this week is kind of taking our location service down to its screws, making sure that tests pass and generally fixing it up so it can build and run correctly again. And he's also been removing some of the buggier backends from it. So what we'll be seeing is possibly an OTA-10. I'm not sure if we'll hit the merge window or not. We're going to only have hardware GPS for a little while. And that might sound like a bad thing, but actually it might make GPS on Ubuntu Touch way more reliable.
For
not
sure.
having those remotes that don't exactly work right. But once that is done, we can build back up on top of that foundation and actually make a good location system that works correctly. So just a quick update on that. Thank you to Rodney for starting that work and getting that momentum going, because that was something we 100% needed.
Apropos OTA-10 merge window, did we say when that's going to close? I mean, we want to release before July 15th for the Google stuff, right? Because
Right.
we kind of have a deadline with that. But do we already know when we want to close the window?
That would close the window just about today.
Okay, so we will extend it anyways.
Right.
Good.
So that's fun. But that's management stuff.
Yeah.
That does all bring us toward OTA-10, everything we've talked about today. And a lot of this will be in OTA-10, so it's going to be an awesome release, even though it's a maintenance release.
Yeah.
So. Oh, yeah, one other thing that has been going on the past couple of weeks. Joanne, our design lead in UBports, has been working on the settings app, just going through and cleaning up a lot of interactions and things that don't follow our our human interface guidelines. So that's looking a lot better now. There's a lot of things that just look more consistent. And a big thank you to Joanne for working on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, OTA-10 pipeline, soon TM. That's all going to come in. Well, this is going to answer the questions about Mir 1.1 a little bit, because Marius, I believe that you have been untrashing Edge a lot in the past couple of weeks too.
Oh yeah. So a lot of things has actually been happening this week. I finally have got time to do shit, which was really nice. So actually, I now have it to a state where I'm comfortable actually telling people to start using it, and try it out. And if you're even, I would say at this point, some might even try it as a daily driver. I have been trying mine as a daily driver for a month now. And after my my memory leak fixes, it doesn't even crash as much as the old one did.
Benchmarks.
Benchmark. But many of the issues are solved now, like GPU, like the GPU memory leak that I just talked about, and where Unity 8 wouldn't take focus from the other apps, so the keyboard would still stay on when you are in the drawer. Fixes the indicator becoming off-centered really, and a bunch of the other smaller stuff that's been fixed.
A lot of this was just merged today, though, so
It'll be in tomorrow. Yeah.
install tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so,
Now, I did upgrade to Edge on my new-to-me OnePlus One, and that's what I'm going to be using now, because especially after that keyboard stuff, it's looking stable enough for daily use, at least for me. So I think that we're on a good path now to getting that in the next release or two, if I can say that without getting mobbed.
And one thing we also discussed is to try to make the instruction a little bit more clear on how to get Edge and how to live on the Edge. So we might even have an option in the installer under Advanced or something to actually install Edge, but also have more clear indication on our docs, if not already.
Yep.
Exactly. Cheese Bacon in the chat room asks, how do I get some of those UBport stickers? Well, of course, there's always Patreon, but because I know who you are, Cheese, you ask me for them. I have plenty.
Can I have stickers?
It's much more expensive for me to send them to you.
No, I have plenty. So.
All right. And I'm glad that I tore off the label right before I presented that, because I dropped the top of the box where the label was. All right. Oh, Jan also had something in here.
Yeah, this is a very minor one, but I guess it was an annoyance to some people. We finally fixed the manual install instructions for Windows. There were some just syntax differences for the manual installation instructions on the devices page, so you could just paste the commands in the PowerShell or whatever on Windows, and that's finally fixed now. Thanks very much to another elk on GitHub for the great testing and very detailed feedback. That was really very useful to me. Even though I have a Windows machine, I despise turning it on.
That's one way to say it. That's one way. Okay.
Yeah, and well, it's on the desktop, so I'm not always home and working from it. So that was very, very helpful. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Making everything better for everyone. All right. And while we're on this thanking train, let's also thank some of our sponsors. So thank you to companies who support us directly, including Smooth and Private Internet Access, as well as DigitalOcean and Packet.net, for making it possible for us to create Ubuntu Touch, either through donations monetarily or in infrastructure. And thank you to everyone who supports us using PayPal, Patreon, LibrePay, or directly those Bitcoin holdouts who actually are proving me wrong lately.
Told you.
But I'd especially like to thank our Patreon community sponsors, Darko Balka, Thoralf Sun, Laurentian Tilleman, Milan Iev, Scott Marley, Rana Merkelev, Morgan McMillan, Sergio Shvetsov, and Yogesh Patad. If you'd like me to mispronounce your name as well, you can go directly to patreon.com/UBports and become a community sponsor there. And then Jan gives me a CSV full of all the people who I need to mispronounce for the month.
Maybe we should just also register ubports.com/Patreon, so it doesn't matter what you
So I stop saying it wrong. Or if you want to donate using a different way, including LibrePay or PayPal directly, you can go to ubports.com/donate. And a huge thank you to everyone who goes there and supports us. You're making it possible for us to create Ubuntu Touch.
And also, if you can't do it financially, you can also do it by donating time for testing and coding or translations.
Or
Yes.
you could sell a kidney. No,
Don't
don't
do
sell a
that.
kidney.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I have 2. I can sell 1.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Hello to the Russian community. YouTube
That's
live
obvious.
chat.
I expected a Tolia for Marius. Yeah, of course.
He totally did. All right, let's get to some questions. So we take these questions from live chat as well as the UBports forum every 2 weeks. And we post the thread where you can ask your questions anywhere from a week to several days before the Q&A, depending on whether Dalton does his job correctly or not. First question comes in from live chat this week from S8506. When will Mir 1.1 be available in Ubuntu Touch?
Well, we are 1 step ahead of you, and we already have 1.2 in Edge. But if you think
Oh,
about
that's
stable,
why you added that question.
no, I didn't add that.
Just so you say that.
But if you're talking about stable, at least a month. I don't
It
know.
may be 1 update or 2 until that happens in stable.
1 OTA or 2.
It's gonna be at least 2 months. But yeah.
In a current speed, we will have it tomorrow.
That's from the fact that we merged like 4 PRs today.
Yeah.
And this is why you don't trust your agile graphs.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want to test out Mir 1.x, you can head onto the forum, and there's a thread called Living on the Edge in the OS section, which will tell you how to install the Edge channel on your device so you, too, can have Mir 1.x goodness. Today. All right, Johannes asked questions in our forum. First up, what is the official way to get answers from the UBports Foundation? For example, if someone created some artwork and wants the Foundation to publish it for them.
If you want something official, an official position from the Foundation, the best way is probably email, because if you message someone directly, they will give you their own personal opinion. So that would be info@ubports.com for official inquiries. But something like stickers, you can also do lots of things just on your own, especially Telegram stickers. Nobody even sees who published it. So you can basically just do it. And what we forgot to mention last time, or what I would have liked to stress more last time, is that there's also the community license for the Ubuntu trademark. So it's really not as big of a deal as we made it seem, I think. So yeah, many things you can just do yourself like that. But yeah, if you want official statements from the Foundation, use email. It's the most official medium. Yeah,
it's the most email medium. Oh, his next question. I understand from last time's discussion, there will always be decisions which can't be met publicly, and etc. But there are a lot of decisions which can and maybe should be public, including the decision process, similar to how Debian does it, and he has a link to debian.org/vote. When they were voting for systemd over Upstart, they also published the IRC log of the vote. What do you think about that?
That really depends on the gravity of the decision. There's many things that you can do like this, and something as important, and especially at that time when Debian made that decision, like Upstart was a systemd, yeah, that probably should be public, as long as the public can understand all the constraints that are behind it. but there's also many small day-to-day development decisions, of course, like what color is this
does the
button or
button?
something. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my god.
We are one.
Becoming one.
Okay. Yeah, so those kinds of decisions are mostly taken by the people or the person or the team who will end up doing the work. And if it creates a shitstorm, then that decision will be reversed. So that's our very professional workflow for that. However, there can also be votes. Yes, for as I said, for things like for big decisions that are easy to grasp but still do polarize, we can do voting processes that are completely public to the community, limited to the board of trustees, or limited to any team, whatever. We are very flexible in that regard. As for logs on the decision process, as soon as the foundation is operational, we will also publish meeting minutes for meetings of the board of directors, for example, and everything, basically, also meetings of the whole board of trustees, which probably is not going to happen that often, but still. So, did
Right.
I
And
miss
for
a part of the question?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You didn't miss anything. And for more information on how those decision processes work and the responsibilities of the board of trustees versus the board of directors, head over to ubports.com/foundation and click on the statutes link. The English statutes are not necessarily legally binding, but they are provided for your convenience.
Small note on this. That is only the legal limitations that we have to abide
Correct.
by. We can still have polls and then just accept the results of polls. So, for example, this doesn't really cover development decisions. Obviously, this is for stuff like financial decisions. But yeah, the statutes aren't that technical that they are not fun to read, so you can still maybe give it a skim. Yeah.
And his last question, what about the foundation application form on the website? Does it actually work now?
We'll start accepting members as soon as we're operational. I think last week we said that we were sending around documents to sign, and actually we were joking, I think, back then about DHL holding back documents, and that actually happened. So we had some shipping delays. That means that we're still not operational today, but they were just released and are continuing on their way to Berlin. So that's great. That's going on. And yes, of course, I don't know. I think the form is still live. Yes?
Yeah, it's live.
Okay. I don't know where that data goes. Is it piped to DevNo? I hope not.
No, it's there. It's there.
Okay. Yeah, you can fill out the form. You will probably not hear back immediately, but you can fill it out, and then you will be accepted. Well, if you are accepted, as soon as we're operational.
All right, thank you. Oki had some Aki? I don't know. Had some questions in the forum. Well, a question. Wilcash from Pine64 is waiting on a build of Ubuntu Touch for the Pinephone, according to his latest update on the Pine64 blog, which you should totally read. It's over at pine64.org. Does a build of Ubuntu Touch exist? So right now, we're working on this mirror for all devices thing, the Edge channel, right? And that is absolutely 100% required before we can run correctly on the Pinephone hardware. And there is work going into on the device in the background, but there's nothing that's visible to the users nor is there a reproducible build.
So also to more explain this is that this was something I worked on early on to get it working to a point where we had to stop because we had things to fix before we even considered running on it. Because for us to make the image, to make the thing run, is not an issue, because Unity 8 can run and has been running on the PinePhone. That's not the problem. But the problem is to have this in a full package where you can use it as a phone.
The same as you would any other device which is currently supported.
Yeah, and this is also why we need to do this also a bit in parallel with what we are doing on Edge, because they will be using the same versions of Unity 8 and Mir and all that. But we also need to start thinking about the nested Mir and moving that over to Wayland instead of being Mir on Mir. So it's Wayland on Mir.
Close enough.
Close enough. Well, yeah.
Let's get into some super technical stuff, and we're probably going to bore someone to sleep. So
yeah. So before anyone falls asleep, it's in progress. And we're just taking a little bit longer because we want it to be functional when it comes out. Basically, I think that's, and also because my time and other time has been limited. I have been at the hospital for the last 2 months.
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take. So that's also
That
why
slowed things down a bit too.
That's also why there has been so much Edge fixes like right now, is because I came home. So also it's not me. It was I was there for my grandpa, but sadly he passed away.
No. May he truly rest in peace.
Yes.
Okay, how do we follow that up? Florian, you added a question from, I don't want to mispronounce this name.
No, it's Adria. It's like the sea.
Adria?
But yeah, like the Mediterranean Sea. You call this Adria also. He has a very oceanic name. No, actually he is from the Sardinian community, and he is super active and energetic about getting the whole Ubuntu Touch operating system localized for Sardinian language. And if some of our listeners or viewers remember some Q&As ago, we finally reported that we could update the locale database from the what is the guys, ISO, Unicode, whatsoever, and they actually now allowed Sardinian to be a language without a country. Let's be more precise. It's spoken not. It's not assigned to a whole country like Italian for Italy, but it's just assigned for a region. Let's say now, and this is a kind of a fake region, so it's very complicated. But in the end, now it's selectable language in Ubuntu Touch. However, Canonical themselves, they did not accept, or they have a very high barrier on how to accept a language into being an official language of Ubuntu. Yeah? So Sardinian, while we now can select it from the language selector, it's still not localized to 100% on Ubuntu Touch because we are relying on upstream translations. And Canonical says you need to have 70% translated of all the strings that make up Ubuntu before you accept it as an official language. So that's a very high barrier because this is thousands of strings in various places and applications, and you need to be very patient with Launchpad to translate all this stuff. And you also need to form a translators group, and there are certain peers and reviews and stuff going on. So it's not that easy to get everything translated if you're going officially to the Canonical side. However, I can understand it makes sense because they don't want to have a language with 5% translated and then people say, oh, cool, you can switch to that language now. And then everybody switches and just sees English. Yeah? because the fallback language is always English, of course. So we are in the middle of that a little bit, and we are still not 100% sure what's the best way to go for languages that are not official canonical languages. In my opinion, still, the best would be to try to push everything upstream in some way and to get canonical a little bit more, let's say, supportive on this case, to help also minor communities, maybe only 4 or 5 people translating that, to get their languages up to this 70% limit over time, of course. However, on our translation server, for the parts that we don't have from Canonical themselves, from Ubuntu, all the core apps and all the stuff that is actually being built on our CI and integrated on the root image, which is not coming from Xenial or in the future from other LTS releases. For that parts, we can provide full translation support, and we also can lower the barrier a little bit. I don't think that we need 70%. However, of course, if you accept a barrier, let's say of, I don't know, 30% translated or even 0%, we will end up in the situation that we also have partially translated languages. So the experience for that users might be not that great. We're a little bit stuck here in the discussions, let's say, as I said, what's the best way to support it? However, for Sardinian, I must say that Adria and his colleagues were very busy to translate, at least for the core apps, everything to up to 100%. So that might be a really cool supported language soon. The only thing that's missing on my side is we have to take care of the language packs that we receive from Canonical, because we need to create a fake language packs for additional languages, and I don't know how we squeeze this into our CI. There are certain developers that say the language packs have to go away. We should rely on the usual way of translation, but then we give up a lot that we can have from upstream Ubuntu. So unfortunately, Adria, I have to tell you, there is still no real solution for getting up to 100%, except for everything what we have already translated for us. It's on our servers. The synchronization from translate is sometimes very slow, I notice. We are still also fighting with the Weblet guys why there is no automatic update sometimes for new strings. They changed a lot. It's programmed in Python, and yeah, that's not my domain, to be honest. So in theory, we have a fully automatic language translation system. It works very nice. In practice, it means any developer adding a new string has to ping Florian, and Florian will then manually recreate the text into PO files. If he doesn't forget for 2 or 3 weeks or 6 months, and then people come up and, why there are still the strings not inside? And I'm thinking, no, this is already since 8 months. We did not update the file again. So please bear with me. But until I upgraded the latest version possible, and it's still not working reliably. They made it even worse with the salary task queues they have now, because now everything is asynchronous and I cannot follow up anything anymore.
Tell us how you really feel, Florian.
Yeah, I'm feeling Pythonized. Yeah, so no.
Who would have thought that it's easier to change an ISO standard than get a new language accepted?
Yes, I was more successful getting the fixes for the CLTR stuff done with those guys. They were very cooperative. Yeah, but
I remember that.
It's really hard to fix Python stuff when you don't understand it. Okay, so that's my long-lasting excuse now for not being up to date with that, but it's not a real excuse. We are still also limited in, let's say, resources, and we wanted to focus a little bit more on other things, and but it was a nice reminder. Thank you, Adria. I will pick up a few things here again and also talk with a few guys. Maybe we can get a lead to Canonical what they think we can do to better integrate with the upstream stuff and with the missing languages. Yep.
All right. Let's take one more here from Mr. Cheese Bacon in the YouTube live chat. Will Ubuntu Touch support 32-bit libraries for Steam gaming?
Yes.
Don't say that.
Well, it is already running 64-bit. it's ARM AF, which is 64-bit. So joke's on you.
What?
Wasn't the
So we
question about
understand that this is a
32? I'm
joke.
confused.
No, the question about 64-bit lib support for Steam gaming. And yes, we do already by default use 64-bit libraries. He
Marius.
didn't he didn't
Marius.
specify what architecture.
Marius, there's no build of Steam for ARM.
I know, but that was not
That wasn't the question.
that wasn't the question.
All
Well,
right.
actually, there is. When I think
No,
about it,
stop.
No.
We're not going to have a Steam compatibility layer as well on top of the
And we
Android
cannot,
layer.
we cannot make lib Steam bris or something like this, and we cannot fork Steam to compile it on RCI, even if it would be powerful enough, probably.
We could start a competing company.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really bad idea.
Or something like that. No, unfortunately, I think that gaming with Steam on our Ubuntu Touch phones will be not the thing that.
Well, not
we will have
unless
Christmas.
you sold an x86 processor on there.
That's actually the hole where we could fall
Oh, no.
into. If you have a phone that runs Intel stuff, then it looks a little bit different. Yeah, like a
Well,
tablet.
if the question is about the on desktop, we really just follow whatever Canonical does there because we don't build those. So
Yeah,
that's
Right.
the TLDR.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that went pretty well, I think. Thank you, everyone. This has been episode 53 of the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. But the fun doesn't stop here. You can find us on so many places, including Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Instagram, as well as Diaspora. And if you want to get our news directly to your chat feed, you can find us on Telegram or Matrix. We have news channels at both of those places that only post the most important things directly to your brain. If you want to chat with us, you can find us on Matrix, or we have a forum for more long-form communication, as well as Telegram at UBports. We also have some mailing lists, list.ubports.com. Those exist. Mailing lists.
Oh, the mailing lists. Yeah, we have to restate it. They're on the homepage now. They are linked in some category I forgot, but you can click on that mailing list and then you're taken to our list server's list of mailing lists. Not to over specify what the list can be. Let's list it again. Okay, no, I'm joking.
And not to overextend this welcome, but we super appreciate it. If any of you have the spare time or the spare cash, head over to ubports.com/donate or get involved. Contact any of us. We can help find a place where you can make the most impact on Ubuntu Touch. Thank you all once again for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. We certainly did. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and you'll be able to find all the information about when we'll be live on our forum, or Matrix, or Telegram. Smash that like button. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.